Hey, today we are looking at Captain America number 164, where I'm not kidding, Falcon Sam Wilson becomes a werewolf. The actual way this story came about is that Steve Englehart wanted to work with artist Alan Lee Weiss, and they wanted to make a comic together. And Steve Englehart had been the writer of Captain America comics for a while. I can't remember who it was, but either it was Steve Englehart or Alan Lee Weiss wanted to do a story about ghost pirates and about Captain America fighting against ghost pirates along with the Falcon. But unfortunately, Marvel editorial was like, no, that just doesn't work with Captain America. So then they got the idea to do werewolves, and Marvel editorial approved that, and that's why we have this comic. I admit it is kind of a weird premise, but I will admit werewolves work better than ghost pirates. Anyway, so let's dig into Captain America number 164 and see how the story of Falcon becoming a werewolf goes.
The comic title is Captain America and the Falcon. Yeah, in this era of the early 1970s, they had renamed the Captain America title Captain America and the Falcon. I'm fine with this, though some of you can feel free to say what you think in the comments. This cover is okay, though I hate the way Nightshade looks. She is half naked except for leggings that come just above her knees. She'd look better wearing pants. You see Falcon as a werewolf to the right on a platform ahead of Cap and Nightshade. Then you see it saying that Nightshade is the queen of the werewolves. Then we have this title page that has a friend of Falcon's named Mel Lanson, who has been dressed up as Captain America by Nightshade, getting tackled by a bunch of werewolves. Spoiler, it ends up turning out these werewolves are all innocent men who were abducted and experimented on by a villain we'll see later. So they aren't supernatural. I don't know for sure, but I think them being part of a science experiment might have been a mandate by editorial. Then we cut to Mel begging Nightshade to let the werewolves off him. She calls them back, but says to throw him away. It says in the narration he has been killed by them. Pretty dark. Then it cuts to her looking just like she did on the cover. So yeah, she can mind control the werewolves. So then we have this disturbing scene of Mel's dead body being taken away by the werewolves. Then in the first of these next panels you see Mel dead with a look of anguish on his face, and then right up next to it is a close-up of Captain America laughing. It's done to be creepy. Then it shows that he and Falcon are riding dirt bikes somewhere. Falcon says that he received a letter from his friend Mel, who told them to come to the place they are heading to. He also says Mel sadly became a criminal while he became a social worker. Mel also said in the letter that he is at the prison they were heading to and that something bad was going to happen to him. He didn't say what the bad thing was. So they are at the bottom of a giant hill below the prison. Cap comments that there are no lights in the prison as if it has been shut down, and also says that it doesn't look secure. Cap lets him go in first, but says he'll back him up from the rear. Then we cut to Captain America inside the prison in front of a large metal door. After going through some hallways, Cap finds a cowl of a Captain America costume with some blood on it. He thinks someone is playing a game with him and Falcon. Then he hears some movement, and you see all the werewolves. Then the werewolves jump down and attack Cap. Thankfully, Cap is, of course, a skilled fighter and is able to fight against the werewolves. Then one of the werewolves says that they must flee because the creature is stronger than him. Except in 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo in the Ghoul School, and Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, I have never seen a werewolf talk. Then Nightshade both tells Cap not to hurt her werewolves and introduces herself as Nightshade, Queen of the Werewolves. She says she has Falcon as her prisoner, and Cap asks how he can trust her. She responds by showing him a feather from Redwing, a red bird Falcon has in the comics. Obviously, you now know why they had him use robots in the movies instead of a bird. Cap thinks to himself she acts more like a little girl trying to pretend to be an adult. And then he sees a bunch of werewolves around Falcon, and Cap demands to know what they did to Falcon. He goes up to Falcon and asks him what's wrong. He says they gave him a serum. Then Cap gets locked in the room with Falcon. Falcon then transforms into a werewolf. Then we cut to Nightshade and her werewolves, seeing them fighting from another room. She is anticipating the Falcon werewolf killing Cap, but then Cap punches him in the chin hard. Then Cap runs from the Falcon werewolf to get him to smash the door open. It works, though he smashes Cap through the door, so it's not that favorable. Then we cut to Nightshade in another room, crying because she has blown it. Then we see the Yellow Claw come up to her. Yellow Claw is a Chinese communist villain who was an Avengers villain back then. Since he is a Chinese communist villain, that's why you have not seen him in movies or cartoons. Anyway, he tells her he wants to both take over the world and make everyone a communist, and also says that he is not funding her werewolf formula. She also says the werewolves were turned back into humans at sunrise. She then tries shooting Yellow Claw, but to no avail. Then we cut to Nick Fury arriving with a bunch of other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who are coming out of helicopters. He declares to the werewolves that they know the Claw is in there. Some who only know the movies or the newer cartoons from the 2000s or later might be confused. The one in the MCU and Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the Ultimate Universe version, who was not created till around 1999. They made him look like Samuel Jackson so that if they ever made a movie about him, they could ask Samuel Jackson to play him. I have said I don't like the Ultimate Universe, and sadly Nick Fury in that universe later turned out to be really corrupt. If you are interested, just go look up a story with him called Ultimate Power and you'll see. But I don't want to review that series because it's really bad, and I generally don't want to review very many bad comics. Anyway, back to the comic. Nightshade is on a tower on the prison and sees all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. She says they'll never take her alive. We then cut to Cap fighting the Falcon werewolf again, and he keeps kicking and punching at him and succeeds in making him go to the ground. But then the other werewolves are around, but they leave and head for the tower on the prison. Cap then tries to reach Falcon, but he can't. Then we see Nightshade jump off the tower to her death. Then the next panel shows all the werewolves who were men who had been in prison who were turned into werewolves against their wills, jumping off the tower on Nightshade's command. This is really messed up, though it would later turn out Nightshade had a flying gizmo on her belt that helped her escape. She is still a character today in comics. I admit, I got that from Marvel Wikia. She is also more of a good guy now, so at least she got character development, I guess. Anyway, back to the comic. Cap manages to get on the tower in time to stop Falcon from committing suicide, and then the sun comes up, turning him back into a human being. He asks Cap what's going on, and he says he'll take an hour to tell him about it later. Falcon then tells Cap that Nightshade told him she had her werewolves use Mel as target practice and that they killed him. Cap encourages him by saying he tried to save him. Then mentions to Nick Fury, who is chomping on a cigar, that the Claw is there, and we end with Nick Fury not finishing a sentence about what he knows of the Claw's plans.
So this comic is actually pretty good. I would admit, it's pretty weird that they had Falcon become a werewolf and then just get easily cured at the end, and that's kind of maybe a bit cliched, but it's good. Next time, we're going to be looking at the top 15 differences between comics and movies because of Linkara doing Superhero Origins Month, and I want to do a similar thing because there are vast differences between comics and movies. See you then.